She didn't miss you when you left. She didn't flinch when you stopped calling, when you backed away, or when you went quiet. Because in her mind, you were still emotionally there, still watching, still hoping, still waiting for her to come around. And that's what most men get wrong. They think pulling away means disappearing physically. But what truly shakes her isn't your absence, it's your indifference. She starts to feel it when you stop reacting, when you stop chasing, when your energy no longer revolves around how she feels. That's when something shifts. Because now you're not giving off pain. You're giving off peace. You're not bitter. You're better. You're not ignoring her to punish her. You're just living without needing her. And that's what makes her stop. That's what makes her notice. Not the silence itself, but the fact that this time you're not coming back. In this video, we're going to break down that exact turning point. The moment she realizes she lost more than just your attention, she lost your presence. And for a Stoic man, that's never something he begs to give again. Let's get into it. Number 1. The distraction phase. Right after things end, she doesn't feel it. Not yet. The silence you left behind hasn't settled into her bones because she hasn't let it. Instead, she fills the void with noise. Plans with friends every night. Late-night messages with half-interested strangers. Endless scrolling curated posts that show she's fine. Maybe she hits the gym harder. Maybe she starts talking to someone new. Just enough to feel a spark of novelty. On the surface, it looks like she's moving on, but that's not the truth. It's just the distraction phase, the space between loss and realization. And you're gone from the frame, but not from the story. Your absence is too grounded to vanish that quickly. The way you carried yourself, the way you didn't argue or beg, the way you chose dignity over drama, it all lingers, even if she doesn't admit it. But here's what you need to understand clearly. A Stoic man doesn't rush to be remembered. He doesn't chase closure or visibility or even acknowledgement. He lets the silence breathe, because he knows some absences take time to echo, and when they do, they echo deep. Let her have her distractions. Let her run from the discomfort. That's not your concern. Stoicism teaches that we don't control how others respond to our presence or our absence. What you control is your path, your composure, your healing. The man who grounds himself in principle doesn't get emotionally pulled by someone else's avoidance. He lets her go, not with resentment, but with stillness. And that stillness, it's powerful. It doesn't need to shout to be remembered. It's the very thing that begins to haunt her once the noise fades. Eventually, and it's always, eventually, the distractions lose their thrill. The nights out start to feel hollow. The validation she seeks starts to ring empty. And when that moment comes, she'll feel it. Not just the loss of a man, but the loss of something rare. Your calm, your presence, your depth. The one who didn't try to make her feel your worth, because he didn't need to. So don't check in. Don't break your stillness to see if she's noticing yet. Let life teach her. Let time strip away the layers she's hiding behind. And when the noise dies down, as it always does, your absence won't just echo, it will speak volumes. Number 2. Routine without you. It hits her in the smallest ways. Not all at once, not with a grand realization, but slowly, almost invisibly, like a drip of water that wears down stone over time. She reaches for her phone without thinking, just muscle memory, expecting your message to be there. Good morning used to greet her before she even got out of bed. Now just an empty screen. No notification, no presence, just space. At first, she shrugs it off. Maybe she even convinces herself it's better this way. She stays busy, scrolls through social media, fills the silence with noise and faces that don't know her, like you did. But routine has a funny way of revealing the truth. You see, you weren't just someone she texted. You were woven into the rhythm of her day. Your messages, your energy, the way you listened, the way you responded. It all became part of her inner clock. And when that disappears, something subtle but powerful shifts. Her days go on, but they feel lighter in a strange way. Not freer, emptier, like something real was there. And now, it's not. And even if she doesn't admit it out loud, she feels it. And here's where most men stumble. They rush back in, hoping to remind her of what she's missing. They chase, explain, try to fill the gap for her, but not you. You're not reacting. You're not posting to make her jealous. You're not watching her stories hoping she'll notice. You've simply stepped out of the frame, not with anger, not with drama, just with clarity. That's the Stoic path. You're not making her miss you. You're not manipulating the silence. You're simply no longer available in a place where you weren't fully received. Epictetus said, "We should always be asking ourselves, is this something that is or is not in my control?" And her feelings, her timing, her realizations, they're not yours to control, but your focus, your direction, that's yours. So instead of filling the void, you let the void speak for itself. She might not say it, she might not reach out, but deep down, she feels the absence of what used to be there, not just the man, but the peace he carried, the emotional consistency, the grounded presence that didn't need to prove itself. That's what she begins to miss, not just the message, but the meaning behind it. So when her routine finally feels too quiet, too predictable without your energy, she may pause. And that pause, that's the moment where the echo of your presence starts to speak louder than any words could. Not because you forced it, but because you stayed true to yourself. And maybe now, you're starting to understand. Your absence isn't just noticed, it's felt. Not because you vanished, but because you chose not to chase what no longer honored your presence. That's not bitterness, that's balance, that's strength. Before we move to the next part, take a second to reflect. Have you ever been part of someone's rhythm, only to realize your presence was taken for granted? Drop your thoughts in the comments or simply type "My peace speaks louder now." And if this message is hitting home, don't forget to like the video. It helps more than you think. Number 3. The comparison trap. Here's what she won't tell you. She thought she could replace you, not necessarily because she stopped caring, but because she convinced herself that someone else could give her what she had with you. Maybe even more. It's a quiet lie we all tell ourselves when we're trying to move on quickly. She told herself a new connection would numb the echo of your absence, that the excitement of someone new would cover the calm security you used to bring. So she tried, maybe with someone loud, more available, more eager. But here's what starts to happen. Slowly, the comparison creeps in. She notices that even though the new guy responds fast, his words don't land the same. His attention doesn't ground her, it overwhelms her. His presence doesn't bring peace. It demands validation, and even though she might not say it, deep down she's starting to realize that what she had with you wasn't surface. It was depth. And depth doesn't come around every day. You see, the Stoic man doesn't play that game. He doesn't rush to reclaim space in her life when someone else walks in. He doesn't peek at her social media or try to outdo the next guy. Because he knows real value doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be true. A Stoic isn't in the business of proving anything. He knows that when someone loses something genuine, time does the talking, and it will speak in the quiet moments when she's alone, when she's laying next to someone else, but remembering how safe she used to feel with you. When she gets a compliment, but it doesn't reach her soul the way your silence used to. That's when the weight of the comparison really hits. She won't admit it at first. Pride gets in the way, but it shows in her hesitations, in her sudden curiosity about your life, in the way her new excitement starts to feel like a performance. Because the truth is, she doesn't miss your face. She misses how she felt when you were around. She misses the steadiness, the self-respect, the way you made her feel without even trying. That's the power of the man who doesn't flinch when replaced, because he knows most replacements are just distractions dressed up as solutions. And in time, the illusion breaks. When it does, it won't just be about missing you. It will be about realizing she was never going to feel that way again with anyone who didn't carry your calm, your discipline, your presence. And when that realization sets in, that's when she misses you, not for what you gave, but for the man you were, and the man you chose to remain even after walking away. Number 4, your stillness becomes loud. You stop texting, you stop checking in. No more reactions to her stories. No more subtle hints that you're still there, still hoping, still watching. No late night, just thinking of you. Messages. No breadcrumbs, just stillness. And here's the twist. While it may seem like nothing thing is happening, that silence begins to speak volumes. At first, she may not notice. She's used to men folding, used to the pattern of you reaching out just to check in. But when that pattern breaks, not with a storm, but with calm, something shifts. Your stillness becomes loud, not in a desperate or dramatic way, but in a way that's felt internally, quietly, persistently. That absence begins to take up space in her thoughts. And not because you made a scene, but because you didn't. That's where most men fail. They confuse silence with passivity. But the Stoic man knows better. He understands that there's power in withdrawal when it's done to manipulate, but to protect peace. Imagine her scrolling through her phone and realizing nothing from you. That space where you used to send a thoughtful message, a funny video, or a midday check-in, it's just empty now. And that absence, it triggers something deeper than attention ever could. Because it wasn't noise she was drawn to, it was your energy, your calm, your presence. And now that it's gone, the contrast is deafening. And here's what separates you from the rest. You didn't go quiet, hoping she'd miss you. You went quiet because you no longer needed the noise. That's the essence of Stoicism. Mastering yourself, not the situation. You removed yourself from the equation, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Because the man who walks with clarity doesn't chase confusion. He doesn't beg to be chosen. He knows that the right connection doesn't need convincing. In time, she'll begin to wonder not just where you went, but how you became so composed, so silent, and yet so present in her mind. That's the power of a man who doesn't need to explain his worth. That's the man she starts to miss, not because he vanished, but because he never had to say a word to be remembered. So ask yourself, are you still trying to be heard? Or are you becoming the kind of man whose stillness says more than any message ever could? If this resonated with you, drop a comment sharing what part hit hardest, or just type "stillness is strength." And if you know someone who's in that space right now, trying to stay grounded when it's easier to react, share this with them. Because in the end, peace isn't found in chasing, it's found in mastering the silence. Number 5. Growth without her. She sees you getting better, not just physically though. Yes, you're in the gym, your body's changing, and there's a glow about you that wasn't there before. But deeper than that, something more permanent. You're sharper, quieter, clearer. You're no longer reacting, explaining, or seeking anyone's approval. And the most haunting part of it all, none of it is about her. She scrolls through your stories, pretending she's not watching. Maybe she casually asks a mutual friend how you've been fishing for details while acting indifferent. She sees the changes in the little things, your posture, your presence, your discipline. But the part that really unsettles her is this: the growth isn't performative. You're not doing it as a message to her. You're not out here hoping she circles back. You're just becoming who you were always meant to be. And that quiet truth stings more than any breakup ever could. Stoicism teaches that the only thing we truly own is our character. Everything else, attention, approval, external, and unstable. A Stoic man evolves not to impress, but because he refuses to remain stagnant. Because he knows that peace, order, and strength must begin from within. You're no longer chasing her or chasing closure. You're pursuing your standard. That's it. And ironically, that's exactly when she starts to feel your absence the most. She doesn't miss the texts. She doesn't miss the good mornings. She misses the way you made her feel safe, centered, and grounded. But now, you're offering all of that to yourself. And that shift, it's powerful. It's painful to watch from the outside when you realize the man who once wanted you now wants more from himself. Let her sit with that realization. Let her witness from a distance the strength you found in solitude, the discipline you built in the quiet, the confidence that no longer hinges on anyone's validation. You're not punishing her. You're simply honoring your path. And that's what Stoicism is all about. Not controlling outcomes, but mastering your responses and staying aligned with what's true. So when she finally realizes what she lost, when she starts to replay it all in her mind, wondering if maybe she misjudged your worth, know this: she doesn't miss the old version of you. She misses the man you are now. The man who no longer needs her to feel whole. And that's the moment she truly begins to miss you. No. 6. Mutual friends mention you. She's not asking directly, but people talk. Maybe it's during lunch with a friend you both know, or someone posts a picture at an event you used to attend together, and suddenly, your name slips into the conversation. Nothing too obvious, just enough to stir something in her. He's been looking good lately. He's been grinding, staying focused, or maybe even more subtle. He seems different now, calmer, more centered. And here's where it begins. Not with you trying to be remembered, but with the ripple effect of your discipline. You're not sending messages. You're not lurking on her profile. You're not trying to trigger curiosity. Instead, you're living. You've gone inward, not in isolation, but in refinement. And that quiet evolution, it starts to show. Not in your words, but in the energy others feel when they mention your name. The Stoic man doesn't return to the past for validation. He understands that real value doesn't need promotion. He doesn't drop hints, hoping someone will carry them back to her. He doesn't ask mutual friends to put in a good word. No, he simply becomes the kind of man that is worth talking about even in his absence. A man whose presence still lingers. Because it was never about noise. It was about substance. Most people disappear and then try to be seen again. They chase attention like it's currency. But not you. You took the silence and used it like a forge, building character, purpose, peace. And now, without effort, without strategy, your name returns to her world. And this time, it carries more weight. Because you're no longer just the man she knew. You've become the man she underestimated. Maybe she smiles when she hears about you. Maybe she hides the sting behind a casual nod. But inside, a question lingers. Why didn't he reach out? Does he even think about me? How is he moving forward without me? This is what happens when you detach with grace. You're not bitter. You're not trying to get even. You've simply risen. And as your life expands, new habits, new goals, new peace, your name becomes a mirror she wasn't ready to face. It reflects the version of you she never expected. A man who didn't collapse when she left, but crystallized into something stronger. So when mutual friends mention you, it's not just small talk. It's a trigger, a quiet, creeping awareness that the story didn't end where she thought it would. And sometimes, that's all it takes. Not a message, not a grand gesture, just your name and the legacy of how you handled the loss. That's when she starts to feel it. Let that be your reminder. You don't need to be in her inbox to be on her mind. You just need to keep becoming someone your past can't compete with. Number 7. A sudden trigger. It could be a song, a place, a memory. And just like that, it hits her. Not like a dramatic wave, but more like a slow, unexpected current pulling her out of the present. Maybe she's at a party, laughing, feeling fine on the outside. But then someone plays that one song. The one you both used to hum in the car, windows down, no destination in mind. Or maybe she walks into a room that smells faintly like your cologne. Or maybe it's even smaller, something she sees on social media, like someone using a phrase you always said, or wearing a hoodie that looks just like the one she used to steal from you. And in that exact moment, time folds. She's not where she is anymore. She's back in that familiar warmth she thought she could forget. And that's the thing. She didn't mean to remember. She didn't want to. But memory doesn't ask permission. It just arrives. The truth is, this isn't strategy. You didn't plant some emotional landmine for her to stumble on. You've been gone living. And life, in its own way, decided to remind her of you. See, the Stoic man doesn't cling to what was. He doesn't pace around waiting to be remembered. He's not out there, counting days in silence, hoping for a text, waiting for karma to come through. He's simply grounded in the present, content with reality, driven by purpose. He knows that what's meant to return does so without force, and what doesn't, that's just part of the natural order. He doesn't try to resist. But here's the paradox. While he's at peace, she begins to feel the pull, and not because he tried to create it, but because he didn't. You see, most people try to be remembered by staying visible, by staying in contact, by forcing some kind of presence. But the Stoic man lets his absence speak for itself. He knows that emotional impact doesn't need reminders, it echoes quietly over time. And when that trigger comes, whether it's that coffee shop, that memory, that hoodie, it doesn't just make her miss a moment. It makes her feel the contrast, the difference between what she has now and the calm strength she once had with you. So if you're watching this and wondering when that moment will come, stop waiting. Let it go. Focus on building a life that aligns with who you are, not one curated to impress her if she ever returns, but one grounded in peace, truth, and discipline. Because she may not miss you today, but life has a way of circling back. And when it does, the man who didn't flinch, who didn't chase, who didn't bend, will be the one she can't forget. If you've ever experienced this kind of moment, where someone came back just as you had truly moved on, drop a comment, or just write, "I don't chase memories, I build legacy." I'd love to hear how your journey unfolded. And if this message resonated, send it to someone who might be walking the same path right now. The road gets clearer when we stop looking back and keep walking forward. Number 8. The absence of emotional safety. She starts to realize something's missing. Not just a man, and definitely not just a message. It's not the old conversations or the way you made her laugh. It's something quieter, something deeper. She can't quite put her finger on it at first, but it lingers. It's the feeling of being emotionally safe. That sense of being able to exhale around you. That calm steadiness you carry. Not because you were trying to impress her, but because that's simply who you were. Your presence had weight, not in volume, not in noise, but in certainty. And when that vanishes, it creates a different kind of emptiness, one that noise can't fill. At first, she may surround herself with distractions, new faces, new conversations, maybe even someone who tries to say all the right things. But soon enough, she realizes something. There's no calm in the chaos. These new interactions might bring a momentary spark, but they lack the emotional grounding she once felt with you. That quiet confidence you carry, the way you didn't flinch under pressure, the way you didn't over-explain yourself, the way you could sit in silence and still make her feel understood. Those things aren't easily found. The Stoic man doesn't give his peace away for cheap. He brings emotional safety, not because he's trying to be a hero, but because he's anchored in who he is. He's done the inner work. He's not chasing control. He's mastered it within himself. And because of that, his presence feels like a calm harbor in a world full of storms. You didn't offer her constant validation. You didn't fix every problem, but you didn't create new ones either. And in today's world, that alone is rare. So when that emotional safety disappears, it doesn't scream. It echoes slowly, quietly, like when she's lying next to someone new and still feels unsettled. Like when she's venting and realizes the person beside her is just waiting to speak, not to understand. Like when she starts to second guess herself because the emotional space doesn't feel safe anymore. That's when your absence truly shows up. Not as silence, but as contrast. You see, a Stoic doesn't demand to be missed. He doesn't chase acknowledgement. He just exists with such clarity, with such control over himself, that his absence becomes a mirror. And when she looks into that mirror and doesn't see your calm strength reflecting back, that's when it hits her. Not right away, but eventually. And when it does, it won't be the photos she misses. It'll be the peace, the security, the steadiness, the man who didn't make her feel like she had to earn love or walk on eggshells to keep it. That emotional safety, it's the one thing that doesn't fade with time. If anything, it becomes more obvious when it's gone. So if you've walked away with bitterness, but with dignity, stay there. Keep living from your principles. Let your presence speak after you're gone. And trust this. A woman may not always miss the man who chased her, but she will always remember the man who made her feel emotionally safe without needing anything in return. Number 9. She notices you're unreachable. One day, she looks, and you're not there. Not in her inbox, not on her feed, not even in the emotional space she assumed you'd always leave open for her. It's not just that you've gone quiet, it's that you've become unreachable. There's no digital breadcrumb trail, no subtle signs of you checking in. no emotional safety net for her to fall back into. And this time, even if she wanted to come back, to reach out, to see how you've been, she senses something deeper. You're not where she left you. That realization is jarring, because before, you were always available in some way, whether through a subtle, like a delayed reply, or just a certain presence in the background. She felt that even when she pulled away, you were still there, still tethered by some invisible thread of hope or memory. But now, that thread is cut. And not with drama, not with a bitter goodbye, just a calm, quiet shift in your energy. That's what shakes her. You're not just physically absent. You're emotionally inaccessible, unbothered content. You've stopped orbiting her life. You've built your own, and in doing so, you've become something rare. A man who doesn't need to be needed. A man who no longer waits for someone to realize your worth. You've stepped into your peace, and that peace now acts as a boundary she can't casually cross. This is when the weight of her choices settles in. The new people in her life might bring excitement or novelty, but they can't replicate what you gave her. Stability, depth, grounded strength. They don't make her feel safe. They don't have that quiet fire in their eyes. And now, the contrast is clear. You weren't perfect, but you were real. And your absence, it's not just silence anymore. It's a mirror. See? The Stoic man doesn't chase what walks away. He doesn't force connection. He doesn't beg to be understood. Instead, he practices detachment, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Like Epictetus said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. You didn't let her disrupt your peace. You just stopped offering it where it wasn't appreciated. So when she looks again and doesn't see the man who used to wait, what she feels isn't just regret. It's the haunting sense that she can't reach you anymore because the version of you she took for granted doesn't live there anymore. And what's left behind is a man who chooses peace over performance, presence over pursuit. The kind of man you don't just miss, but remember. Number 10. When you've let go for real. This is the moment when it's not about silence, strategy, or seeing who misses who first. It's when everything inside you settles. No more emotional tug of war. No more waiting for a message that never comes. No more trying to prove your worth to someone who couldn't recognize it the first time. You're not pretending to be fine. You are fine. You're not faking peace. You've earned it. You're not bitter. You're not playing the role of the man who doesn't care just to spark her curiosity. You simply stopped offering your energy where it's no longer valued. You've stopped explaining yourself. Stopped hoping. Stopped looking back. And it's not from a place of pain, but from clarity. You've grown past the point of needing to be missed. You've entered the rare space where being missed becomes a side effect, not the goal. And this is exactly when it lands for her. Not when you disappeared from her feed. Not when you stopped replying, but when she senses in her gut that you've let go for real. That if she were to knock now, she wouldn't find the same version of you waiting behind the door. Because now, you've rebuilt that door, and it doesn't open so easily anymore. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." And that's the essence of what's happened here. You've stopped obsessing about what might happen with her. You've armed yourself with reason, not emotion. And in doing so, you've built a kind of inner strength that doesn't need validation to stand tall. She may scroll through old photos. She might even hear your name through mutual friends and smile to herself, remembering who you were. But what truly stays with her is the quiet realization that she doesn't have access to you anymore. Because you've stepped into a life where your energy isn't tossed around based on someone else's timing. You've chosen your peace. You've chosen yourself. You've stopped waiting for closure and created your own. And that, my friend, that's what finally makes her miss you. Not your absence, but the powerful truth that this time, you're not coming back. And that's the quiet twist most people never expect. It's not your distance that makes her miss you. It's your evolution. Your refusal to beg for recognition. Your calm detachment. Because she didn't miss the man who texted every morning. She didn't miss the man who waited. She misses the man who walked away without needing to prove anything and never looked back. And by the time that truth lands, You're already too far into your growth to turn around. If this video helped you see things differently, drop a comment below, and let me know what part resonated the most, or just type "I've chosen peace over being remembered." It might seem simple, but your words could help someone else who's right in the middle of letting go. Don't forget to hit that like button if this spoke to you, and make sure to check out the videos on screen. They'll take you even deeper into this journey of strength, detachment, and self-respect. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay grounded.